Hi everyone, so welcome back to my Using a Calculator series. This is part 4. In this video what I'd like to look at is indices, so negative indices, looking at how we put that into the calculator, and I'd like to have a look at standard form. Okay, standard form is useful for your maths exam but also your science exam as well. Right, so if we look at this one, you can see I want to put it in exactly as it's shown in the question. We want to work out what it is. Alright, so we're just going to let the calculator work it out for us, and it will do. We just have to know how to put it in. So if we stick with the brackets, which is what we need to have, we've got a bracket, and inside the bracket we've got a fraction, so we're going to need to start a fraction off there. See how the bracket becomes longer? Right, so we've got 4 at the top, and if we put 3, so we go down arrow to the bottom, then what we're going to do is we're going to press the across arrow here to the right to make that cursor bigger. I'll just show you what happens if I don't do that. So if I now try and put a bracket on, see how the bracket has only gone next to the 3? I don't want that, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go across like that and put the bracket around the whole thing, which is as I want it, which is what's shown here. Now I need to put in indices of -2. So I'm going to press my indices button and it's going to open up that little box. -2 is what I want, so I'll put that in. And if I press execute, then it gives me the answer. Okay, so the answer, and I'll just write that down in the exam or whatever, is that. Alright, now we can go into why it is that, but that's another video on indices. Okay, so we'll just stick with the calculator work now. Alright, so let's have a look at standard form on the calculator now. Give you a bit of a tutorial on standard form. It's so useful to be able to do it in your calculator. So standard form, lots of my students in the past have always thought, right, okay, so if I wanted to do standard form, I have to do 3 times 10 and then use the power button, and etc, etc. Okay, so that often causes lots of problems. There is a button dedicated to standard form on your calculator, and in this calculator it's right here. Okay, on some calculators it might have the letters EXP on it. That could be what it says on your calculator, but it should be in this same sort of area down here. Okay, so that is the standard form button. You do not need to put times 10, anything like that. So let's look at this question. It wants us to work out these two things. Okay, so we've got to use brackets again, just to make sure everything's within that bracket. So 4, that's all we press, so that's just that number. And then we press the standard form button and it brings up the times 10 bit. And then we're just going to put the indices in. Now I'm going to press the cursor across and use my bracket again so that I've got it exactly as it says here. I'm going to times and open bracket 2 by, oops, see what I did? I went to put times in. I don't need that because I can just press the button. And then I've got that. And then see how now I pressed the bracket button and it just went next to the 7. So I'm going to delete that because I want it bigger. So remember your cursor, and you do get quicker at this as you go along. And then that's as it should be, so just double checking it looks the same, and then that just works it out for me straight away. Okay, so let's see if I can change it to standard form. Yeah, so what I can even do, let's just go between the two. What I can even do now, and I'll just show you how I did that. If I go back to what it gave me it as a full number, so 8 billion, and then I didn't want that, I wanted it in standard form. So your calculator will tell you that. So if you go to format, and it always brings up these choices, if we go to ENG notation, press OK, then it gives it to you in standard form. Fantastic, nice, save you a bit of time. Plus you can check you can check that you've got the right answer. Let's say that you were doing some converting between numbers in standard form as part of what you need to practice, and you can just check, use your calculator to check that. So that was format, this one, and then it was down to this selection here, and then you press that one. Okay. If you go left and right now, it will adjust the number, so it's no longer in standard form, the answer, but it adjusts it and it just gives it you in lots of different ways. It tells you what it is to the 10 to the power of 0, and if you go this way, it will give it you as a decimal answer. Okay, right, so let's go back to that one. 8 times 10 to the 9. Right, okay, so I'm going to clear everything. I'm going to go to the second question. Let's have a go with the negative indices. The same thing again. Brackets, you have a go at it. 6 times, so I did it again, 6, and press the button to the power of 4. Remember to go to the right, and then press the bracket. And then we're going to times by bracket 2, press the button, and then we got minus 2 as our indices. Remember to go to the right to press the bracket, and then we've got it all as it should be. Okay, and then we get our answer of 1,200, which it will convert to standard form. Let's see if you wrote it as standard form. Let's see if the calculator confirms it. So let's just say format. So that converted to standard form would be 1.2 times 10 to the 3. So let's have a look, see if we get it right. 1.2 times 10 to the 3. So we're just double checking. 1.2 times 10 to the 3 is standard form, if that's what we needed it to be in. Okay?